Hello, Liverpool fans. Welcome to the Liverpool Report, your go-to source for the latest news, match updates, and transfer stories straight from Anfield. Don't miss out on any of the action. Hit that subscribe button now and stay in the loop with all things Reds. Liverpool have been urged to sign Newcastle star Alexander Isak to replace the misfiring Darwin Nunez. Arne Slot criticised Nunez's unacceptable behaviour after the £85 million striker missed a golden chance in Liverpool's frustrating 2-2 draw away to Aston Villa on Wednesday. "I would prefer him to score, but the word chance says it all. It's a chance, so it's not 100% sure that the ball goes in, and players miss chances," Slot affirmed. "That I can accept, but what was a bit harder for me to accept was his behaviour after that chance. I think it got too much in his head, where he wasn't the usual Darwin that works his off and makes sure he helps the team. That is something we will talk about." But Nunez, who had interest from Saudi Arabian clubs during the winter transfer window, might not have long to prove himself under Slot, especially if ex-Liverpool defender John Arne Riise gets his way. The former left-back, who played at Anfield between 2001 and 2008, has urged the Reds to join Arsenal and Chelsea in the race for Isak, who'd reportedly cost a huge £150 million. "I've seen the rumours saying that he would love a move to Liverpool as well," Riise told Metro via BetMGM. "Every striker would love to go to Liverpool at the moment when how they play, but I think it would be a great addition to the team. He plays football with a smile on his face. He likes to be creative. He's quick. He's very good in front of goal, so I think that would be a great signing. If there's one place I think Liverpool should strengthen or do something in the summer, it's the striker position for sure." Those comments aren't to say that Riise isn't a fan of Nunez, however. Sometimes you have players in the team that you love watching and you love having a team, and Nunez is one of them. He fights, he works hard, he is that kind of character, the 2005 Champions League winning defender went on to explain. So often he gets these chances and you think, yeah, now he's going to loosen up, now he's going score, but it hasn't come for him. And so, no matter how much I love his personality and how he plays, Liverpool are a top club that need a striker who scores goals on a regular basis. We have Mohamed Salah, but he's not a striker, he's a winger. We need a striker who is more clinical and will take care of his chances when he gets them. You will miss some, but Nunez has missed quite a few massive chances that he should have scored. So it's a hard one being a Liverpool fan and loving Nunez as a player, but if you look at the team and what the team needs to stay up there at the top, I think we need to look at a striker who is more clinical in front of the goal. Arne Slot has warned Liverpool not to get distracted by what Arsenal are doing as the Reds threaten to get drawn into a tight title race. The Gunners can move to 5 points off Premier League leaders Liverpool when they face West Ham on Saturday after the Reds drew 2-2 with Aston Villa on Wednesday. Slot's side don't play until 24 hours later, and with a tough trip against champions Manchester City. Their test, the Dutchman does not want his players concerned about what Arsenal have done before them. "I think the biggest question to be asked is from Man City because we face a strong team again. Like we faced at Villa," he said. "Yeah, Arsenal plays before us, but we know that doesn't make the game easier or more difficult than we have against City. We know we have 12 games to play and Arsenal has 13 games to play. If we constantly look at Arsenal or what other teams are doing, that would not help us. We already know how difficult it is to go to the Etihad, so we don't need Arsenal to get involved in that even more. City are not in the title race this season and are more concerned with qualifying for the Champions League after being knocked out of the competition against Real Madrid on Wednesday night. But Slot is not getting complacent as the Reds look for their first win at the Etihad in the Premier League since 2015, which was before Pep Guardiola took charge. They've had maybe 1 or 2 months in the 7 or 8 years he's there now that weren't the best. Maybe partly because of injuries as well," said Slot. "Injuries come back. They've signed 3 or 4 players. I can see them coming back already if you look at the result against Newcastle. So what you expect is what everybody expects if you go to the Etihad, if you play against City. You have to suffer as well and work really hard to keep them away from your goal because they are so good in ball possession. But they face a strong team as well that hasn't lost for 22 games. Cody Gakpo has a chance to return against City, but Connor Bradley looks set to join Joe Gomez on the injured list for at least a week after he limped off against Villa. Trent Alexander-Arnold was taken off for Bradley against Villa and seemed surprised at the substitution as he had just scored the equaliser, but Slot revealed that was pre-agreed as he manages his minutes. "We spoke about this already a week ago, that in these 5 games he already knows how many minutes he would make," said Slot. That was in a situation where Connor Bradley was available as well. "Now, we maybe have to adjust our plan." Jamie Carragher has told Liverpool that a victory at Manchester City this weekend should secure them the Premier League title, if history is to be believed. The Reds, having drawn 2 of their past 3 games, head to the Etihad Stadium on Sunday to take on Pep Guardiola's battered and bruised side 8 points clear at the top of the table, having played a game more than Arsenal. City have just gone out of the Champions League and are miles off it in the title race, but remain a formidable opponent. Liverpool have a poor record on the blue side of Manchester, and failing to win would allow the Gunners to further close the gap. However, a victory would see Arne Slot negotiate arguably the toughest fixture left on the calendar. A loss in Manchester on Sunday, coupled with an Arsenal win at home to West Ham a day earlier, would flip the title race on its head, with Carragher underlining the value of a victory. He wrote in the Telegraph, "Beat Manchester City at the Etihad and win the title. It sounds more straightforward than it is, and no one will be making such a wildly premature declaration if Arne Slot is celebrating an away win on Sunday night. But history informs us that victory in this fixture can be the difference between being champions and runners-up." Carragher has pointed to results in Manchester as being defining in recent years. Jurgen Klopp failed to win there in 2019, and 2022 doing so would have seen him land 2 more titles. Had Arsenal won, rather than drew, their last year, they would be carrying the tag of the champions. One area that gives Carragher confidence is the Liverpool front line. Slot is spoilt for options, and the Reds often find the back of the net. Arsenal are not as lucky, with injuries ripping through their attacking resources, albeit they remain solid defensively. The Sky Sports pundit pointed out, though, that history suggests a more potent attack will ultimately edge out an impressive defence when it comes to lifting the trophy. This title race is a battle between Arsenal's superior defence and Liverpool's more varied striking options, he said. The positive news for Liverpool is that across the 32 Premier League seasons, more often than not, the title winners have been the team with the best attack rather than defence. Carragher also confessed that both Arsenal and Liverpool need work, which is likely to be aided by some shrewd recruitment this summer, and whichever team can cover their cracks may end up as champions. He said the title will be won by the side who can overcome their current imperfections to get over the line. Luis Suarez has hailed Darwin Nunez after the Uruguayan missed a sitter in the draw at Aston Villa and then copped it from his manager. The Reds drew 2-2 at Villa Park, but in the second half Nunez was presented with an excellent chance. Dominik Szoboszlai squared it to the forward, who appeared from the bench, but he missed the target from close range despite no goalkeeper being in sight. Liverpool's draw ultimately saw them open the door slightly for Arsenal and continued the narrative around Nunez, who has been criticised for being wasteful in front of goal throughout his time at Anfield. Arne Slot was less than impressed with the forward, not for his glaring miss, but for the attitude he showed after missing from close range. The Dutchman claimed his work rate dropped off in the period after his blunder, but Suarez has leapt to Nunez's defence. Nunez maintained on social media that he would give it my all until the last day I'm here in Liverpool. Suarez, who was a huge success at Anfield, replied to the forward's post with a glowing endorsement of his attitude and character. His fellow Uruguayan said, "Of course, goal scorer, that's how I love you. That's the attitude, always positive. Let's go up." Liverpool's number 9, who joined from Benfica in 2022 in a club record deal, has scored 6 times in 35 appearances this term and is by no means a regular starter at Anfield. There is talk of a summer exit for the Uruguayan, as the Reds consider reshaping their attack. Slot was questioned on Nunez's display and said, "I can accept every miss, especially from a player who scored 2 very important goals away at Brentford, and that scored for us in the home game against Villa in November." I would prefer him to score, but the word chance says it all. It is a chance. It is not 100% that it goes in the goal. I can accept misses, but what is harder for me to accept is his behaviour after the chance. It got too much in his head. He was not the usual Darwin who works his socks off and makes sure he helps the team. He was too disappointed that he missed that chance. Maybe we will never know, but maybe that is why he was just a fraction short the moment afterwards.